Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and today we're going to be looking at some Innr smart plugs. Anyone who has any kind of home automation will be familiar with smart plugs. These allow you to convert what might be an otherwise dumb socket and plug set into something that can be controlled remotely. In this example, we're going to be using Samsung's Smartthings. Now, I've got a Smartthings set up. They make great gear, but their smart plug A can be a little bit expensive, and B can also be sometimes hard to get hold of. So I think all Smartthings users have probably experimented with other kinds of smart plugs. The Ikea ones come come highly recommended actually. Their only downside really is that they don't have an on-off switch actually at the socket, so you always have to control them via an app. These Innr ones look like they do. There's a little button here on the top, so that gives an additional benefit which isn't available to the Ikea ones. They are a little bit cheaper than the Smartthings ones. Smartthings ones, a single plug is typically about £30. I was able to actually pick this set up in an Amazon deal for £35. So for a little bit more than one Smartthings plug, I was able to get two of these. Now, the other thing I like about these is that they work off the Zigbee protocol rather than Wi-Fi. I have also used the TP-Link ones, which work very well, but they use Wi-Fi and it requires an extra step, an extra interface that to make them work, and there's always sometimes that little bit of unreliability about Wi-Fi and internet and all those kind of things. So let's have a look inside the box. A bit of bump. Innr, I think Innr's a Dutch company, if you haven't come across them before. They provide a whole set of lights and smart stuff. The lights are particularly compatible with Philips Hue, but we're just going to be looking at trying to get this working with Smartthings. So this is, as you can see, this is a double pack. We're only going to need one for the purposes of the testing. Oops, my socket's wandering off. So as you can see, these are the UK variants with the three things. As I say, yes, they have the little switch on top, max 13 amps. Other than that, it's all fairly standard stuff. 13 amps doesn't really talk about the power factor. One thing to bear in mind, I mean, I'm not sure 100% sure, I haven't researched these. You shouldn't really be using these kinds of sockets for anything which has a motor in it. So think vacuum cleaners, washing machines, those sorts of things. Anyway, let's pop that in here. Now, hopefully this is powered up. Yep, we get a little green light there, which I'm going to guess is wanting to say that it needs to sync. Okay, so the light's flashing away. I'm going to get Smartthings out and we're going to see if we can get it connected. So let's add a thing, and it's going to sit around looking for devices. Hopefully this won't take too long. Innr smart plug, well, that was pretty quick. So let's, as we're at Christmas time, let's rename it to something festive. Christmas tree. That's better. Okay, so let's just save that. Yep. Okay, so in here we should have Christmas tree right at the top here. And let's see whether this, I'm hoping this is going to click away, otherwise you won't believe me. So let's try it. So it says it's on. Oh, that was a poor choice. And I have two things called Christmas tree now. But I'm going to guess it's this top one here. So let's try. Yep, hopefully you heard that click and you obviously saw the little light there. Yeah. Okay, and as I said, the one thing that I'm really hoping for is that you've got this button on top which allows you to change the power without having to resort. And actually you can see it reflected here in the app as I press the button, it reflects it there. So just for those of you who aren't into Smartthings, there is a Smartthings hub. It talks to the Innr socket using, or smart plug using Zigbee, and it's really the phone is talking via the internet to the Smartthings hub. The phone itself doesn't talk Zigbee, as it were. Zigbee is obviously not quite like talking Zigbee, but you get the idea. So that's good. So I'm going to be using that for some of my, although I've called it Christmas tree, it's actually, I've got some other lights that I put in mind. Okay, so the Innr smart plug seems like a nice little product. It's a reasonable size. It doesn't have any big protuberances either to the top or the bottom, and you've got that switch on the top for turning it on and off at the socket without having to resort to using the app. I paid £35 for the two of them. List price I think is closer to 40. Now these don't come with any energy monitoring, so you can't look at the current or the power being drawn through the socket. If you want that, you will need to stump up the extra money for the Samsung smart plugs that go along with Smartthings. But if you're just looking for something to control remotely and have that little bit of flexibility, which makes it a step up from the Ikea sockets, I think these are definitely worth looking at. Not much more to add. If there's any problems in use, I'll let people know. But on the whole, they look good. Okay, so this is Andrew for Geek News Central signing off. Thanks very much.